Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Winter Season Showdowns. My name is axeltoss. I'm joined by axslav. We're currently watching the North American qualifiers for the Winter Championship event on March 15th. A best of 5 right now in between Caliber and Goswser. Goswser off to a 1-0 start. Looking good, but before we get into game number 2, youtube.com/official MLG-SC2. If you miss any game from the entire Winter Season Showdowns, if you don't know what happened in the Kespa matches, Roro versus Hero, Innovation versus TY, or no, Innovation versus...
TY.
It was
Yep.
TY. Okay, yeah. So many awesome matches. Sake versus Thorzane. Throw some out there.
Party versus Fantasy was
Seed
great.
Sniper.
Oh, Seed Sniper game 2.
That was great.
That was a game. That was a game. Game 2 on Daybreak. Catch that one, guys.
It's all available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/official MLG-SC2 in full 1080p HD. So, that being said, also, drop a subscribe if you're feeling generous. It's not too much to ask.
It's a click or two.
Shall we advance
Yes.
into
Game number two? Gonna be on Cloud Kingdom.
Yes. Of course, your Zerg player in the bottom left-hand location is currently up 1-0. Has a ridiculous winning record in the game of Heart of the Swarm. We know he's been playing a lot of it. He showed it in game 1. He is from Team Millennium. He is Goswser. So some people think it's Goswser, but the W is 2 U's. Hence the name double U, right? 2 U's, double U. So it's Goswser. It's a clever name, but a lot of people, don't understand that. So hopefully I enlighten some people. Of course, his opponent in the top right-hand location, considered the underdog in this match, but is no stranger to very important matches. He is from Team Light. He is Caliber. Currently down 1-0. But opening up this game a little bit differently than last game. Of course, last game we saw him go for the gateway opening on 1 base. But this game, he's going to place that pylon at his natural expansion.
Deciding maybe last game, it took him a little bit too long to get up to steam without that fast nexus. Double pro production, of course, very important to increasing your economy. Goswser, he's going to do nothing funny quite yet. Just going to...
I think these drones mining are hilarious.
They're doing a little bit of a shuffle. One of them went around the back. Of course, what Caliber's doing here with this probe is he's trying to make sure that Goswser's mining is interrupted as much as possible. If he has his probe mine the gas, that means the drone, or mine a mineral, excuse me, the drone can't mine it. So that's why one of the drones walked around the back, because it's trying to find a different angle to get there. And it's small. It's a small effect, right? It's not like you're going to win the game doing that, but every little bit can count.
It's just like when Terran players pull back that mule when it's about to return, when it's about to die, but it has minerals in its mouth. You kill it before it goes and mines those last minerals. Very minor things you can do in StarCraft 2, but at the highest level, it's going to matter a little bit. You're going to be able to tell, oh, I have a little bit more minerals at this point in time, kind of a thing. So pretty cool play there from Caliber, but nothing the bronzies or the silver guys should be worrying about at this point in time. I don't think.
It's fair to say.
Fair to say.
Fair to say.
Maybe once you're masters, you can start playing around with that, because there are other things you need to prioritize, but these guys are the highest of levels, so not too surprising to see that happen. Very cool play there from Caliber. Going to be opening up with the Forge and the Gateway, putting a pylon at his opponent's natural expansion, which might be a little bit annoying, so Goswser are going to be accumulating those minerals, getting those Zerglings out onto the field, and probably going to double expand very quickly.
One thing I really like that Caliber's doing is he's delaying his Photon Cannon, getting both the Gateway and a second pylon before starting that Photon Cannon, because he knew that there weren't any Zerglings coming, because he had that pylon there at Goswser's natural base. And now he knows that the Zerglings are still at Goswser's third. Of course, if the Zerglings headed straight across the map, he would have just built in an extra building to wall that off until the cannon could complete. So a very, very smart play by Caliber, just maximizing his opening. In those little things make a big difference as they add up. I mean, we can see that here Caliber's in a great position. Goswser is still doing fine as well, of course. Not like he's anything wrong, but Caliber's just doing everything right to get as far ahead in this game, or come into this game with as good standing as possible.
Of course, he did sacrifice a little bit by putting that pylon down at that natural expansion, but, some might say it's worth it as long as you're able to see when those Zerglings are coming out, you're able to delay the hatchery a little bit. Just very small numbers, but again, significant at this level. But as you said, at this point in time, no one's going to be significantly ahead. Just little things they're trying to do to get an edge. But yeah, Goswser going for the 3 hatches before gas. And
look at where he placed that creep tumor. That's really interesting. A creep tumor over there. I mean, well, what that means is he really wants to get creep over all the way around his main. And that can help against like war prisms or airplay. But you know what it also can mean? He could actually jump down with that creep tumor.
So the creep tumor on the low ground.
It means he wants to get creep spread up by his third. And this is actually the fastest way to do it because he didn't have a queen quite out there yet. And so, yeah, he can get the creep spread up by his third, and he's prioritizing that over his natural.
I think that's cool.
And it's a really awesome, cool trick that I honestly haven't really seen. I mean, I think I've maybe seen it once or something, but it's not really used. I mean, almost all Zergs, that first tumor, they put it right outside their natural.
Something I can kind of compare it to is when Protoss puts a pylon here, and then when they're eventually taking a third, putting a cannon on the low ground. Very cool little tricks you can do in StarCraft 2. But, ooh, we see an opening here from Caliber starting to come to fruition. We have a Stargate in the top right-hand side of his main base. Remains to be seen if it's going to be Phoenix or Oracle. I would expect Phoenix, but we'll see what he decides to do.
Void Ray. I mean, will this be followed by Phoenix? Will it be used to just kill the Overlords and maybe take a fast third? Because, of course, Void Ray can deny Roaches very effectively with his anti-armored prismatic alignment ability. And against Zerglings, as long as you have a good building placement, you should be okay. There goes a Robo. So I think this is going to be... I think it's going to be a third base build. He's gonna look to take a third base and then progress probably to that same Colossus Void composition that we saw him go for last game. Goswser hasn't really done anything too crazy yet. He knows his opponent's been constantly producing probes because the Overlord can see the saturation at natural to some degree. He can also see the gases. So, you know, he's getting a Roach Warren, but if you notice, Roach Warren is not super fast, right? It's because he knows there's no early gateway pressure coming.
Yeah, I mean, if we're considering Caliber's build here compared to last game, well, he did stop at 45 Harvester. Oh, no, he's still building Harvester. We'll keep an eye on that, though. His third will be significantly faster if he decides to take it soon. But that being said, adding on 2 gateways, he could be adding on more here.
He could be. I mean, he probably wants to go up to about 4 gateways before moving out to the third because you want to be deal with Zerglings. You know, the Voider can deal with Roaches, but you got to get a decent Zealot Sentry competition before you can really secure that third super well against Zerglings, unless you take it insanely early in the game. So we can add a few more of those.
He's not building probes. Okay, no, they're the probes. He keeps faking me out.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
He's just a little bit indecisive there. Goswser just now lair, so a very late lair, or just 30 seconds ago. A lot of Zergs tech lair at 7 minutes, 7:30. Goswser waited until almost 9 minutes before starting that lair tech. I think it was about 8:30 that he started taking that lair. So a very, very delayed lair for him, and actually...
He's faking me out, I'm telling you.
He keeps building more gateways.
Now there's no probes in production.
I think he's going to follow this up with a Sentry Immortal combination with Time Warps, 2 Void Rays on the top. He's going to definitely go for a 2-base timing here now with that type of gateway count. And the fact that Goswser tech lair so late might work against him because he's not going to have Roach speed. He's actually going Spire, but I don't know if I'll Spire units out in time.
All right, he's going to see that there's no third base, so Goswser might have a good idea of what's going on.
Oh, he saw the Immortals too.
Oh, okay.
Seeing those Immortals is a huge win for Goswser. I think he knows exactly what's going on because other possibility is going straight to Colossi attack, right? Like we saw on that Daybreak game. But seeing 2 Immortals usually means you're not going for Colossi just because there's so much gas if you add up, you know, all what you're spending with the Void Rays, the Stalkers, Immortals. So I think he knows there's going to be some timing coming at him. I think he's just going to mass Mutas to defend us.
Yeah, and I think it might work. I mean, 68 Harvesters on the field here for Goswser. Going to try to be annoying at his opponent's third base. There are some units going over there in that direction. 3 Void Rays overhead. Time Warp going down there from the Mothership Core, but a flank coming in from Goswser. Taking down an Immortal in every unit is incredibly important. In a push like this, Caliber is not going to be happy about that.
Oh!
He even trapped his sentries behind this. He's going to have to kill that pylon.
And he even lost his probe on outside. Without that probe on outside, it's going to be, I mean, he can't push. You got to build pylons to support the push. So losing that probe was huge. He had to kill his pylon. He's now sending out another probe. And this one he's got to keep alive. Very, very essential to keep that probe alive.
All right, 15 Mutas are in production from Goswser. 24 Lings as well. Has some units at his opponent's third just to watch out for that counterattack.
I was wondering, I'm like, when's he going to build the mass spines? If you go Mutas, you go mass spines against 2-base timing. But his spines are actually, I think they'll come up just in time. Another little counter hitting Caliber's main, actually.
Yeah, going to target down the forge and the gateway. One cannon is not going to be enough to prevent this harassment. There comes A sentry being warped in here from Caliber. Meanwhile, we have the attack going in on the third base of Goswser, and now Caliber going to go straight for that natural expansion, but it looks like the spines are not yet done.
The Speedies are coming back to flank. We can see them here coming around. They're almost back in position to hit that flank.
Mutas are revealed. Plenty of Mutas in the air here from Goswser. Lynx flanking in from the back. Militia Corps getting taken down. And does Caliber have enough here to fend this off? I don't know if he does. Well, he's doing a decent job here, but again, Goswser can always back away and retreat to that spine wall, but throwing away a lot of units there.
Yeah, he may have engaged slightly a bit prematurely, of course. He's going to be fine on defense, but I almost would have liked to see him actually
send the Mutas across the map?
Exactly.
Or at least a little bit of them?
Yeah, as soon as the spines got up, I think he could have just countered with the Mutas, and then, of course, Caliber would have nothing at home to defend the counter. So he's probably going to look for that right now. I love the idea of taking that bottom right hatchery. That's a beautiful move there. It's something where even if Caliber sees it, it's not easy for him to take that out, because if he sends a small force, Speedies and Mutas can take it out. If he sends his whole army, he leaves his main and natural exposed to counterattack, like exactly what we're seeing right now.
Caliber recognizing the Muta play, making a second Stargate. He's going to go into mass Phoenix production. Can he get out enough in time to deal with these Mutas? It looks like he's just going to back up and take a third base. I'm waiting for him to make more Yeah, he's at 49 Harvesters, so we'll keep an eye on that pro production.
I like his position, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Muta count's not high enough to really be that scary right now, and by the time it gets high, there's going to be a good amount of Phoenixes.
Yes, and Goswser, of course, it's going to be important that he scouts this play. He has not scouted the double Stargate, so he can't necessarily know how severe the reaction is from Caliber, and that could get him into trouble. Of course, a good response would be mixing in a couple of Corruptors, maybe adding in some Hydras. And we see that Hydra Den on the way, so we'll have to see if Goswser can delay this third base.
Caliber split up his armies to defend both bases. That means there's only a few units at the third. He's got to get some force fields to keep those Speedies off of his army, but now the rest of his army comes into play, and the Phoenixes here, they're going to do wonders against that Muta flock.
Oh, the Lings aren't going to be able to go anywhere. Great Zealot Warpin flank there. The Phoenix is now going to start pursuing these Mutas, and just like that, Caliber up 128 to 94 supply. Goswser trying to turn around the Mutas to take down the Phoenixes, but again, Caliber taking Goswser completely off guard, and now he's going to counterattack. Goswser needs to defend these two bases. He's got to send some spines over here to this third, or just give it up again.
I think it's too late. I mean, it would have been great if he had half his spines to the third, half on top of this ramp of the natural, but he hasn't moved any over, and if he tries to move them now, they're going to take too long to burrow, and they're all going to die before they can complete. Yeah,
ideally he moves those before, like even while he's attacking, but Caliber coming in here to the natural expansion, I don't know if he wants to engage into that spine crawler wall. Just going to be content going towards that third, but keep in mind, Goswser has this base at the bottom right-hand location that Caliber has not yet scouted, so that might keep Goswser in this game.
It's definitely Goswser's ace in the hole, but he can't really get drones there very effectively. Now trying to get some more drones with the bottom right. Caliber has his own third, and it's running, I mean, it's not fully saturated yet, but Protoss 3 base versus the Zerg is really on 2.5. Protoss has got to be very happy with that. The Phoenix count keeps increasing, and even though there's Hydras out in the field, the Phoenixes can outmaneuver those fairly comfortably.
Even pick them up if they're not together.
Yeah, exactly.
Phoenixes engaging the Mutas here, and Goswser, a little bit of a misclick there, did not want to lose this, but now the Hydras getting in on into the mix, going to try to take down some Phoenixes.
Goswser's got to find a way to make this Hydra army work. I mean, they can beat the Phoenixes, but honestly, Caliber's combined force could easily crush Goswser's relatively small Hydra-esque army. Caliber is now going double forge, trying to, say, okay, now I've solidified my 3 bases, the game's kind of stabilized. Now I got to make sure that I'm ready as the game goes forward, which means getting those upgrades to be ready for the late game.
Oh, this War Prism is going to discover this base at the bottom right. Caliber spotting what he needs to spot. At first, he's going to be like, oh man, he's had that up for a while, I bet. But then he's going to be like, oh, I guess I can go kill that. So we'll have to see what Goswser can do to defend this expansion, because there's a lot of drones there that represents a large part of his income.
Goswser's trying to progress to the Hive tech. Perhaps he has Brood Lords in mind, as he knows he needs to supplement his Roach Hydra force so they can deal with Caliber's numerically superior ground army. Now now that he knows Goswser committed to defend that base, he's sending his full force down there, warping in Zealots. So many Zealots, every single warp in there. His army's huge, but a little bit hesitant. Oh, he's worried about the counterattack.
Yeah, you kind of have to give this up. I mean, if you go down there, first of all, there's a chance you're trapping your Zerg army. Second of all, you can't retreat easily because you're not going to be on creep. And of course, you're leaving yourself open to that counterattack. And is it worth defending that base at the bottom right if you lose your natural in third? Probably not. So Goswser going to give that base up. He's going to secure his own third base, but he's going to have to work some magic here to come back here because it's going to be 3 bases versus 3 bases. And Goswser, he finds himself in a situation where he has to be ridiculously cost efficient with the army he has on the field.
He does. Caliber's got that Phoenix Patrol scouting for any other hidden expansions. I'd love to see him go and harass some of the drone lines. Of course, there is a Spore Crawler in the drone lines, but one Spore Crawler is not going to stop a determined Phoenix harass. But the Hydra is catching him off guard.
Phoenixes do not want to be running over those Hydras. They will spit at you, and it will hurt. Phoenix is losing, actually Caliber losing a couple Phoenix there. Going into Storm, adding on those High Templar, 1-2 is on the way. Took the upgrades really quick. We have +1 missile attacks, +1 flyer. No carapace upgrades yet from Goswser, but we have a +1 weapons upgrade here from Caliber. So no crazy upgrade advantages for either player, but if Caliber is able to continue with this double forge upgrades, he could get a significant advantage fairly soon.
He definitely could, but now we see Enduring Locust being upgraded by Goswser, perhaps planning to remax on Swarm Host. I think that's the right idea against this heavy Zealot-based composition that Caliber has, but he's got to find a way to not die this army, and this is a very strong army now moving across the map.
Big engagement might happen, so keep in mind there's a Warp Prism at the bottom side of the map. Nick, keep an eye on that for me, of course. Caliber going to try to engage here. The High Templar's coming forward. Big storms onto the Hydras and a Time Warp. The Hydras trying to run, but they can't. Look at those storms from Caliber melting away the Hydra army there from Goswser. Only Roaches pretty much remain, but the Immortal's going to make quick work of that. And Caliber cleaning up that army. Of course, Goswser with 33 Roaches in production, but I don't know if that's the appropriate answer. Obviously, it's one of the only things he can do, but I don't know if he can even match this army.
There's just so much Protoss striking a third with the main army, a massive warping going on in the main at the same time. We saw in that battle, the Blinding Cloud's not so effective against the very Zealot-heavy composition that was fielded by Caliber.
Wow, great force fields there from Caliber. Look at that, sectioning off so many Roaches. But Goswser is eventually going to hold this off. Behind this, Caliber securing a 4th base. The Zealots in the main are still doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Also an Archon there, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Goswser going to try to do some counter-aggression, trying to track down an Immortal, and Goswser is not, I don't think this is going to be terribly effective.
He's trying to desperately counter. The spawning pool goes down. The Spire is about to go down. The Hive itself is under severe fire. Maybe he can deny this 4th base, but you know what? Caliber says, I don't need a 4th base if you don't have a main.
All right, Caliber going to be eventually holding off these Roaches. Are these Roaches going to be able to even get out of there? There goes the Blinding Cloud onto the Protoss units. The Phoenix is going to try to pick up as many as they can, and there goes the Time Warp from Caliber, and he should be able to eventually clean up these Roaches, but that Blinding Cloud doing so much to negate the effectiveness of those Stalkers and Immortals. A very close battle, but Caliber should eventually pick it up.
Wow, but Goswser now actually has a supply advantage. He was able to barely hold on to that Hive in the main, losing a spawning pool in the Spire, but he's just going to crank out Roaches. Caliber's pushing forward, but if Goswser can defend his 4th base, he's going to have an economic advantage going forward, and Caliber's down to 1 mining base.
Very tense, very back and forth game 2 here of this best of 5. Keep in mind, Goswser is up 1-0. He has 63 Harvesters to his opponent 51, trying to hold this 4th base. That's going to be instrumental if he wants to convert to victory. Also has 5 Swarm Hosts in production, so making a bit of a tech switch. There are some High Templars on the high ground here. Goswser thinking about engaging. Got to be careful. Those storms have been tremendously effective in the early stages, or in the mid-game part of this matchup. And Caliber going to back away. Needs to start thinking about taking a 4th base, but I think I would take the top middle instead of that middle right one.
I mean, there's 2 theories. Is one, you can expand away from your opponent and then just play in defensive mode. But the other one is if you want to be aggressive, you want to expand towards your opponent because then you can defend your base while attacking at the same time. Caliber feels he needs to put pressure onto Goswser's 4th. He feels using the high ground he can deny a lot of mining, and so he'd rather take the expansion that's a little bit closer to where his active army is going to be on the map. But now the Swarm Hosts are in play, and it might be a mistake to expand so close that these Locusts can actually hit Caliber's 4th. Yep. Even with the Swarm Hosts being back all the way in Goswser's.
I guess that's why I was saying I'd rather him take the top one, but of course, Caliber had no idea the Swarm Hosts were in play, but now he does know, so has to start taking action against it. We'll keep an eye on what he does.
The waves aren't synchronized though. Half the Swarm Hosts are summoning the Locusts at a different point than the other half, which means that each wave is smaller than the ideal.
You gotta pop them all up.
And he's also not actually sending him to attack the fort. They're kind of just hanging. Now they're going. Now they're finally going, and they will get in there and do some damage, but he's got to get those waves synchronized, perhaps unburn them until they all get the freckles on their backs going on. One Zell going to go down, and this is why Swarm hosts are so strong. The range is insane. Maybe only killing 1 or 2 units, but that adds up.
Oh, one Swarm host feeling very bold, thinking he's a Locust, but he's going to get killed very quickly. And now Caliber decided he wants to engage. He said, enough is enough. Lots of high Templars with lots of energy here in this competition.
Oh, Templar run!
I'd almost storm there.
Oh, look at this.
Okay, yeah, Nidus at the top. We also have a War Prism at the bottom and a Dark Shrine about to finish. So we're going to be pretty strained as far as observing is concerned. But Ghost User, still a lot of aggression being placed onto this 4th base in the form of those Locusts, trading energy for nothing there. So Ghost User is going to be happy about that. And there goes the Nidus play at the top while we have the Swarm host attacking into the 4th base. It looks like there are some roaches leading in there. Yeah, trying to take down the cannons, but Caliber going to try to warp in some units to deal with that. Also, DTs in the main base of Ghost User, so there's action going on all across
the Hive
this
is
map.
going to fall. An Overseer is morphing, but it's going to be too late. The Hive goes down, and that's just a huge, important tech building for him, because without that Hive, he can't make more Overseers. He can't rebuild Infestation Pit. He can't go to Greater Spire. He can't build Ultra's Cavern.
All right, it looks like Caliber is trying his hardest to deal with these Locusts. More Swarm hosts going to drop down here. And Ghost User's getting a ridiculous amount of Swarm hosts. We have 14 Swarm hosts on the field, all being sent to that middle right-hand location. And the Stalkers, Archons, Void Rays, Phoenixes, this unit composition from Caliber, is it the correct one? How do you deal with Locusts like this?
It's very, very hard. It's a losing battle because they are free units. Luckily, you know, Ghost User still hasn't quite synchronized his waves up, but once he does, it's going to be extremely devastating. Even with them unsynchronized, damage is being done. And now there's another Nidus over here back at the top.
Yeah, still doing a decent amount of damage. Again, just applying pressure is what Ghost User is going for. And Caliber desperately trying to hold this 4th base. What's the next move for these guys?
I mean, Caliber's got to find a way to get an army that can actually make progress against these Locusts, because right now he's just losing units. Maybe it's only 1 or 2 at a time, but it does add up. Ghost User adding more and more Swarm hosts. Ghost User's got to synchronize his Locust waves, though, because right now they're coming in piecemeal, and in piecemeal, it doesn't really work quite as well. He still is getting damage done if he can keep up the pressure, keep Caliber pinned back. Caliber, I mean, the trades are all going Ghost User's way,
yes,
right?
They are. No matter what I think they are, because the Locusts, they don't actually cost anything.
And now he's moving his spines up.
I like it.
And so many Locusts coming in. Now they're getting a little bit more in sync. The Zealots are just evaporating here.
Gosh. The Caliber has to make a decision. He can't just keep taking this hurt.
I mean, but he also can't come up and attack that position.
So he has to leave this base, I guess? I mean...
yeah, he's got to sack the base, maybe counter to the natural, and then the third. Perhaps even split his army in 2 and using a small recall segment to try to circle around one direction while the other army circle around the front. But this DT harass is doing a great job, though. That's what he needs if he wants to get back in the game. Play the mobility game, because in a straight-on engagement, the Zerg will crush you with those Swarm
Dark
hosts.
Shrine just got killed there. It looks like Caliber wants more Void Rays, going into double Void Ray production at a time from his existing Stargates. Meanwhile, look at all this stuff from Ghost User. You just look at the minimap. There's Zerg units going everywhere. Locust to the right. Swarm host up to the top, and the Hydras back down to the natural to try to defend against
Infestation Pit goes down to DTs.
Oh, no.
And he can't rebuild that. Remember, he lost his Hive. He's just now restarting the lair, but Caliber is just dismantling with this War Prism harass.
Caliber everywhere with the War Prism. The good news, I guess, for Ghost User is that Caliber can't make any more DTs at this point in time because his Dark Shrine was sniped away. Overseer trying to follow the Hydra, trying to take it out, and he does get it. Of course, there were more units over there, so that War Prism was going to die no matter what. Meanwhile, we have Ghost User repositioning his Swarm host, trying to find out, all right, where is my opponent placing his 4th base? Looks like Caliber's going to try to sneak an expansion of his own in the top left, and if Ghost User can't recognize that, that could be a great win there for Caliber.
He's got to find a mining base. Ghost User's stockpile money is going higher and higher. Caliber's 3rd base is all but mined out. He's basically not mined now until that top left gets into action, and now there's a horde of Locusts pushing his army back into 3rd. Is Ghost User going to check the top left?
That's so scary.
He's got a small force there.
He's thinking about it. Hold on. He's so close to seeing that.
Oh, using a Time Warp to delay the Locust. A great move by Caliber, but it's just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. The problem is these Swarm hosts. They're still trying to attack a third, but they're edging right around Caliber's only mining base that has no defense. But Goswser doesn't know it's there.
Yeah, maybe there's a hilarious situation where Caliber can get a
Caliber's
pylon
gonna
back
make his
there.
move.
Oh,
The Swarm
he's going
Hosts are
for it.
very close.
The Swarm Hosts are extended forward quite a bit. Caliber needs to defeat these Swarm Hosts right now. Throwing storms on top of the Locust. The Hydra's gonna come in and engage as well. Mothership Core going down. High Templars continue to throw down the storms, and now the Swarm Hosts are essentially defenseless. Caliber has to make this work right here, right now, and he might have enough. He's up 116 to 88 in supply. There go all the Hydras. Is this what he needed? The Swarm Hosts getting picked up from the ground by the Phoenixes. Caliber saying, get out of here, man. Get rid of the Swarm Host, and just like that, Caliber with a great, convincing battle.
An amazing win for Caliber there. Goswser forgot to retreat the Swarm Host between the waves. Caliber punishing for that, but Goswser has a massive bank behind him. He's going to rematch.
He secured the top left?
He has. Caliber secured the top left, but I think he wants to strike now because Goswser is still mining off at least one base, if not two.
Nothing but Hydras in production here from Goswser, trying to find out, all right, what do I need to deal with this army? He did not expect himself to be in this position. He looked unbeatable with like 20 Swarm Hosts on the field, but one little misstep with those Swarm Hosts, and this is what happens. We saw Rhett do this on Cloud Kingdom in a previous Winter Season Showdown match.
Cloud Kingdom is the map where Zerg players have that temptation to go all the way to the top left when there's no reason to do so, and then a Swarm Host gets stuck there and they can't get back. Well, we've seen it with Rhett, now we've seen it with Goswser, but Goswser, can he make the comeback now? He's only down by 30 food, but the problem is also not just the food, the tech. Yeah, his overlords are going down. He's got to restart his whole tech tree. You can see there now, Spire, Infestation Pit in production.
Oh, no.
All he's got is a spawning pool and a Hydra Sten. I don't even think he has a Roach Warren anymore. And the Hydra Sten's getting chopped up by Zelda and a natural too. If that goes down, okay, good. He's on top of that.
I mean, Zealot was almost a hero.
But Caliber, meanwhile, this respite he's been provided by that amazing win in that engagement, he's using that to rebuild his own. I mean, he was crippled so much by losing that right side base at Sormos, but now he's on rebuild mode. He's adding more Colossi. He's got that top left mining. He knows exactly what Goswser has with his Phoenix Harass. I think he's in a great position in this game.
Phoenix is coming to the bottom right, scouting that out, going to take down some drones. A little bit interesting to try to target down the Queen. The Phoenix is going to get out of there as fast as possible.
And look at that army from Caliber. 3 Colossi, a horde of Stalkers, all upgraded to the 3-2 point. He now realizes that all Goswser has is a handful of Hydras, and you know what? Not such a great combination when you're coming up against Colossi composition.
He does have Pathogen Glands on the way, but still a ways away from actually getting infested from the field. Spine Crawler is going to be overextending a bit here. Every unit is going to be important. Every single Spine Crawler might be necessary in the defense of this incoming push here from Caliber. He might just go to the bottom right and take down that base. And again, behind this, Goswser's thinking, okay, he's not mining, but he still doesn't know about that top left.
I love Goswser's plan to launch his counterattack. He knows he can't deal with the army, but if he can throw in a counterattack, he can indirectly force the army to retreat. But he's got to make sure his Hydras don't get cut off. But he knows about the top left now. He's heading up there. The Hydras will get cut off, but if he can take out this base, Caliber will no longer be mining.
Is it worth losing all these Hydras, though?
He's
getting 11 Infestors out, though.
Split.
He could, but it's Hydras.
Yeah, well,
remember that.
They're faster now.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, look at this. He's trying to split. Is he going to... No, but they all turn back. That momentary indecision from the other...
High Templar.
Oh, the High Templar. Are they going to get the storms? No. I mean, the Hydras moving fast enough to win.
And Goswser lost the bottom right during all of that.
He did. He did.
There is a Zealot in the natural that was cleaned up. No, still pursuing some Infestors.
Oh, he lost his Hydra then, but he still got the Infestation Pit. He's rebuilt a good number of Infestors. Oh, the Hydras did get picked off by those Phoenix, not able to quite return home.
I don't know if that was worth it, man. Taking down the Nexus, losing about 20 Hydras, which you would love to have here. But again, how effective can they even be in engagement here without Vipers?
Yeah, there's so many Colossi, and the situation now is Caliber's not mining, so Caliber has to come in here and attack. There's so many Infestors, but what can he do against this massive Protoss Death Ball?
Caliber trying to close out his opponent here, throwing down the Storm. Infestors trying to be utilized here by Goswser to get back into this game, but I don't know if he's going to have enough. He's down 133 to 65 in supply. Caliber was still so many Colossi, High Templar, Stalkers going to blink after the Infestors, and I think he's going to win this game. He's up 131 to 33 at this point. There's the GG from Goswser. What a game two there from those two guys. Cloud Kingdom always producing those great games. And just like that, Caliber is going to even up the series. So back and forth.
That was beautifully played by Caliber. He knew he had to abandon that right side base, go for the top left, and that's what gave him that victory. I mean, For a while there, he was trying to go heads up a Swarm host, and you're never going to win that one. So really intelligent decision by him to give up the right side, go for the left, and that led to his victory.
Now, Goswser's key mistake there, I think we can agree, was losing all the Swarm hosts. He had about 20. So I guess people are wondering, gosh, how did that happen? Why did that happen? When you shoot those Locusts, first of all, I don't know if they should be that close. Second, we retreat right after you shoot, because Locusts will still go. You can just lift up your Swarm host and back up if you think you're threatened at all.
Yeah, there's one actual myth that a lot of people believe, is that if the Swarm hosts are closer to the opponent, that means that the Locusts will be more effective. Which is only true if they're dying from a timer, but the timer is so long that it's almost never to see him die in a situation. You can actually keep the Swarm host very far away, and the Locusts do the same damage regardless of at what point that cooldown timer is activated. So there's no reason to send them that close.
Yeah.
As long as they've got about 5 seconds left on a timer when they hit their opponent, 5 seconds with the amount of damage you do is more than enough. You got to keep those guys well back.
Wow, great game 2 there, of course. This is a best of 5. These guys are tied 1-1, so we're not done just yet. Still more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Storm action coming our way from Caliber and Goswser. Game 3 coming up. Stay tuned.